Hello. I'm so happy to be with you. I am so excited that my book is coming out, and I thought today on the podcast I would read you the first chapter of the book. This has not been available to you before, but I think it gives a really great taste of what is in the book, the tone, the attitude, kind of why it's different, right, from another tax guide that you've read. So today on the Sunlight podcast, I want to bring you the first chapter of my book, Taxes for Humans, which is the most personable, judgment free, kind tax guide that is practical and will help build wealth for you so you can focus on your important work. All right, here it is, chapter 1. My story and your mindset to make it work. So, how long are you going to do this art thing before you get a real job? My dad's accountant asked me. When those words landed, I realized that I was in enemy territory. My pulse started racing. I just started my life as a professional painter. I was paying a CPA to do my taxes for the first time in my adult life. I wanted to learn about self-employment's minefield of tax responsibilities and set up some tax-smart savings, but I needed help. Honestly, I had entered that room feeling cocky. I had just graduated my MFA painting program with the Dean's Award, a prestigious grant, 2 upcoming artist residencies, plus a gallery that was courting me for representation. This accountant saw none of that. To him, I was just a naive girl dabbling in something unimportant, lacking the maturity to learn about taxes and business and join the world of people to take seriously. I was a weirdo from another world, and I was wasting his precious time. My fellow misfit, I see you. You picked up this book because you've got tax questions, and I'm going to answer those. But I'll do more than that. I want you to feel seen and respected for the unique work you do. The world becomes better when more people like us have thriving businesses. As a creative person, a mission-driven person, a community-building person, you are the empathy muscle of our culture. You find new solutions to old problems and help people gain new perspectives. You bridge gaps between people, help foster understanding, and are visionary, showing others that a better world is possible. If you are from a historically marginalized group, you may experience problems and see solutions that others never noticed. Your voice has been missing, and it needs to be heard. Many of us culture and care workers have felt alienated from the world of money, like I did with my dad's accountant. We don't see ourselves represented or respected. Our passion is seen as naive and not as a gift. And we've been living on a shoestring for so long, we've started to think that having money might corrupt us. We've swallowed a message that tells us to play small. Believing this hurts you. Your vision alone won't change the world. You need money. Why is this book different? Well, because I'm an artist first, not your dad's accountant. And I've seen some shit as a woman, mother, creative, and frankly, as a person without much money or power. Some examples. I was fired from a museum job for complaining that my pay was half that of my male colleagues. I've experienced pregnancy discrimination. And I had a gallerist cancel a once-in-a-lifetime studio visit when I asked for an extra 15 minutes because I was actively having a miscarriage. I've been assumed to be financially incompetent because I'm an artist. The creative stereotype is harmful and untrue. You know it, right? The one that says that you're a flaky creative and bad with money. True. I care more about inspiring people than amassing money. But also, I'm not stupid. I know how fully capable you are, and if I can do it, you can too. Your exact experiences are likely different, and yet you too may feel alienated in accounting spaces because your experience is so different from the accountant's. Maybe your perspective has been shaped by financial discrimination, being a different personality type, or having very different interests from people in accounting. Perhaps you have worked hard to become the expert you are, only to feel humiliated admitting you don't know much about taxes in front of a judgy accountant. Maybe many of us feel like a round peg in a square hole when we talk to financial professionals. That's why I founded my company, Sunlight Tax. I went back to school for accounting, got my enrolled agent's license, aka a tax professional, licensed by the IRS. Sunlight, as you know, is warm and helps things grow. It's the antidote to shame and fear. And that's where you come in. To me, creative and care based businesses run by people who have been historically underrepresented are the cure for what ails this world. Sunlight Tax is where weirdos like us get straightforward tax education that values who you are and what you do. All of the charts and resources in this book are available to you, and I give a URL for that. To be clear, I come at this work from a place of imperfection, not superiority. I have had all the frustration, made all the mistakes, plus suffered the harsh judgment of money professionals, and sometimes my partner. And yet, I learned how to do it well, which is great, because if this misfit artist can do it, that means you can too. I have some asides in the book, so here is one aside. More than a quarter of all couples split up over money. My nastiest fights with my partner were prompted annually with a tax return that highlighted how low paid my high prestige art career was. My disorganization did not help. I never forgot that humiliating experience in my dad's accountant's office, and I'm here to make sure you feel seen and get the help you need. Let's get to it. Why should you even care about taxes? Taxes are our agreement as a society. They fuel our country. Taxes build our social safety net, our roads, our schools, our military, our green energy initiatives, you name it. Taxes are the broccoli of democracy. You might prefer Jolly Ranchers, but if you base your whole diet on those, your democracy isn't going to function. Like it or hate it, we need taxes. The tax code is built on incentives that encourage people to do things that are in the country's interest. We create incentives for things we value. This can change over time, and it varies quite a bit depending on who we elect. These incentives work well for people who know the law, but there is a disconnect when people don't know the law. Tax education would be very helpful for all U.S. taxpayers. And another aside, in the book, I think taxes should be taught in high school as part of civics. In a capitalist society, taxes create a lot of incentives for businesses. What most freelancers don't realize is that 1, your freelance work counts as a business and can access those incentives. And 2, these incentives kick in quickly and are way more generous than you'd expect. The tax code is built to give you a financial boost as you start a new business, even a tiny one. Don't worry, I'll teach you about this in Chapter 3, Going Negative, and in Chapter 4, Startup Expenses. Incentives like these are here right now for you. I get it. We've been trained to have a knee-jerk feeling that taxes are burdensome. You've never really considered that the tax code does all kinds of cool things to put money in your pocket at key moments in your life when you need it. But it does. Here are some examples. A bigger tax refund the year you start a business or have an unexpected loss in your business. Tax savings when you set aside money for your retirement, your family's education, or health care. An ability to access cash in your retirement account without penalty when you buy your first home or when you're the victim of domestic violence. Cash back when you've been hurt by natural disaster. Cash in your pocket when you are poor but working and supporting children. I can go on, but you get the idea. Here's another aside. This knee-jerk tax reaction is no accident. Most people want the rich to pay their fair tax share and pay back into the country that helped them build that wealth. If you're a billionaire, it's a bad look to want to cut taxes for billionaires when it's self-interested and benefits only you and your friends with yachts. So you need a strategy to get middle-class people to not want you to pay taxes. How? The current strategy sows distrust in government so that people don't have faith in it and associate the word burden with taxes. It positions politicians who cut taxes then as relieving people's burden rather than seeing what they are really doing, which is taking money from the poor and middle class and giving it to billionaires. All right, taxes don't just take from you, they give back too. Know this because it helps you get everything they're intended to give you. And another aside, hell, You can even organize and advocate for more. God knows the billionaires are doing this. Taxes give us societal benefits we can't get on our own. Think military protection, roads and bridges, educated neighbors, food safety, scientific research, natural disaster recovery, and so on. If we chose to, taxes could also provide universal health care, free vocational and university education, affordable childcare for working families, and public transportation that reduces carbon emissions. Other democracies have chosen these benefits already. Did you know that the U.S. tax code subsidizes your business expenses to create an incentive for you to make investments in growing your business? Even for a company of one or a weird niche micro business. It's true. Giving you a deduction for what you buy for your business isn't a given. It's a societal choice to incentivize you to grow because businesses that invest in themselves are more likely to succeed. They spend a lot of money in the economy, and when they grow, they spend more. Plus, they start to hire. They grow the U.S. GDP, and they pay taxes. It's a virtuous cycle. Helping U.S. businesses grow is a top priority for the U.S. government. There's a reason that people come to the U.S. to start businesses. The U.S. tax code makes it so easy. Compare us to almost any other country, and suddenly you start to understand why the US has 3 times more startups than all of Europe, or that a whopping 44% of Fortune 500 companies were started in the US by children of immigrants. It's good to be a business in the US. People in the US may feel down on this country, but these numbers prove that people in other countries want the opportunity that we in the US often take for granted. The face of US business is changing in exciting ways. More businesses today have missions to benefit society and the planet. See the growing B Corp movement. And more women, BIPOC, queer folks, and other historically marginalized groups are forming businesses to reflect our values and serve the unique, unmet needs of our communities. While the business world may still be more male and more white than the overall population, more people of diverse backgrounds are stepping in and making change with new businesses of their own. When you are self-employed, even when you are purpose-driven and anti-capitalist, you are still a business. Getting clear on this unlocks all of your tax benefits. Also, it's not evil to be a business. Purpose-driven businesses that solve real problems are doing incredible good for the world. Who better to have money and use tax rules to their full advantage? You are who this is for. Your work is important. Also, you're a business before you think you are. That matters because it means that you need to learn the systems now to utilize all the benefits available to you at the beginning when you really need it. Don't wait and miss out. The IRS recognizes your business's starting point way sooner than you thought. It's not at the moment you make your first sale, or when you first break even, or when you decide you're ready to incorporate. Nope. The IRS sees you as a legitimate business the moment you first advertise. This means when your website goes live, you post about it on social media, or when you send your first announcement email to friends and family. You might not even realize you're advertising. Are you chatting with someone in your DMs about how you can help them solve their problem? That's advertising. For most freelancers, this entitles you to tax benefits years before you thought you would get any. Knowing this stuff is key to getting those benefits. How to do it all without getting overwhelmed. How do you get your money organized, your tax savvy kicking, and your system set up to put taxes and savings on autopilot, especially when you don't feel anywhere close to that point? I have one mantra for you. Aim for improvement, not perfection. Seeking perfection will keep you stuck and give you excuses to delay. Wait, I'm not done yet, just one more tiny detail. It's an impossible standard that will ensure you never make it. Improvement, on the other hand, is 100% achievable. You, me, and the IRS already know that you're not perfect. Tax law doesn't require you to be. Want to know what the IRS really does care about, though? Being on time. That is not an impossible standard. Also, the IRS is very consistent about penalties when you are late. You might be skimming this book to get your taxes done. I get it. I promise to help you do that. But let's talk for a minute about why you might feel allergic to growing your own wealth and why that might be holding you back. Your mindset matters. The very thing that makes your work awesome can often be mistakenly tied to attitudes that keep you broke. What makes your work great? The fact that you really, truly give a shit, that you place your vision higher than your desire for money. This is a superpower. It will help you find true fulfillment because once you meet your financial needs, more money doesn't make you happier. As someone who has done the taxes of several millionaires, they aren't happier than any of my other clients. When you are passionate about your work and money isn't your primary mission, it's possible to get your head on wrong about money in general. Creative people, healers, and care-based people tend to be undervalued in society, and consequently, we're often underpaid. We interact daily with other like-minded people, so it's easy to absorb the prevailing do-gooder attitude about money, that money itself is bad and people with money aren't good people. When you believe that people with money are bad, you make decisions that undercut your ability to earn, save, and grow your money. It's not rocket science. If you believe you'd be kind of a jerk if you had more money, and you value not being a jerk, are you really going to advocate for yourself and the monetary value of your work when you discuss your rates with your next client? No, you won't. Having done thousands of tax returns for creative people, I see that in order to successfully build wealth, you must address your feelings of anti-wealth. If you believe you'll lose your moral compass by having a fully funded solo 401k, then you'll never fully fund your solo 401k. Here's a helpful mental shift. Money is not evil. It's not good either. It's neutral. It's a tool. Think of a hammer. You can build a house with a hammer or destroy a house with it. A hammer is a tool that amplifies the power of the person holding it. An ethical person with money is a person with the power to do more good. You started your business to change the world in some way, large or small, and taxes are part of doing that. They aren't just a thing you need to get done each year and pay each quarter, although they definitely are both of those things. Understanding the essentials of your taxes will help save you money every year, help you have a bigger impact with your work, squeeze more out of each dollar, and achieve financial security faster. You might see the world of shareholders and tax-savvy business people and think, that's a straight, white, male world that doesn't feel like me. But I think, I wish more people like you, my misfit, visionary, queer, BIPOC, and/or historically marginalized friend, were building wealth, taking up financial space, and growing your visionary business not on a shoestring, but with capital and power, so you can make a huge impact in this world and even enjoy some leisure, comfort, and security along the way. That's the reason I do this work, and that's why you need this book. All right. There it is, chapter 1 of my book. I hope you enjoyed it. Send me a DM at Sunlight Tax if you liked it, if you have questions about it. And I hope you'll pre-order the book before it launches November 26th and will be available in bookstores. And if you're interested, you can check it out at sunlighttax.com/book. All right. Thanks for listening today. I will see you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. It really helps. I'm so grateful. My tax guide, Taxes for Humans, is available for pre-order at sunlighttax.com/book. This podcast is for education and entertainment only. Nothing in this episode should be taken as individual tax or financial advice. You can find all the tools, books, and links I reference at sunlighttax.com/podcast.